Hello! I recently released a short that was my intro cover of Wanderer by Insiferaum. I had at least two instruments on there, and it was copying or at least showing the tabs on there. It was a cover, so I was showing the exact tabs or chords that was there. I'm going to be showing the tool that I've used. It's Beepbox, beepbox.co, free and open source. You can go ahead and open it. There's all types of different ones if you didn't already know about it. It is a synthesizer that comes with a whole bunch of different instruments. I can cover it later in a different video. You can set the scale, the key, the tempo, the rhythm, and the volume of instruments. You can also change different patterns so that way you can have multiple measures of music. I'm going to show basically how to read the tabs from Songsterr for guitars into an instrument on here, or at least onto this. It's not really an instrument, it's a synthesizer, but still. So we're going to go with the piccolo. We are going to be doing Inis Mona by Eluveti, another one of my favorite bands. As you can see here, 107, 107 for the tempo. It doesn't really tell me a key. Usually you would go based off of your scale here. B to B means it's usually in the key of B, but if we change it into the key of B, you'll notice that it kind of has what we need, but the A is like up here instead of, where it should be. So we're going to go ahead and keep that in D because we have the D, E, F, G, A, and everything. So we'll go ahead and play this to show what the two measures that we are remaking here. That's it. If you could hear the flute in it, and then hear this. Turn that up a little bit more. Alright. So, let's go ahead and break this down. This is a rest. Usually that means a whole rest, and then this would be a half rest. I think it's either these tabs are messed up or how the tabs translate to Beepbox is a little messed up. So we're using this as 2 notes of rest. What do I mean by a note? This is a note. This is a note. This is a note. Any of these lines here are notes. Technically, they are being played, but they are how long are you holding them for a beat. This is a quarter. This is a half. This is a whole. This is 3/4. I'll explain all of this. So we have 2 whole rest here. So 1 rest, 2 rest. That's nothing being played. And then a half rest. The half rest would be this. Half rest. And then we have a quarter on B8. That's G. Why are we playing a note at G, you might ask? Alright, well, if we go to B, this is the note. So how guitar translates to Beepbox, you have piano keys here. This is not a piano. This is guitar and guitar tabs. So what you'd have to do is from the B, it's 8 frets up. So you would count 8 and go up. So from B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That brings us to G. Then we have 11 from F sharp. So if you noticed, B and then F sharp below. So you don't want to go to the F sharp here, where this is played, and then go up, because you will have an off sounding music. You would have this. It doesn't sound right. So you would go to the F sharp and then count 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then 10 is right below it. But hey, if this right here is a quarter and this is a quarter, why is this not a quarter? Good question. This right here, this little smiley, I guess, this line underneath that carries it over, that is a carry on, that's a bring on, that's a whatever. It's not a slur. A slur is whenever it goes up a note. So it would be like 11 on F sharp, and then to B10, then, or B8, you would slur it if that was connected. Instead, this is on the same line, which means, hey, this 11 is also what you're playing here, except it's one whole note connected. So that's why the 11, it would look like that. but that doesn't sound right. Instead it's held, because it doesn't sound like that here. And then we go to a 10, which is there, and then boom, one measure down. So this is usually structured in a way where it's two measures. This is a whole measure, do that, and this is a whole, well, this is a whole measure, right? So you want, at least whenever copying music from here into here, or copying tabs from here into here, to remember that two measures is the whole thing. So you have 1 and 2. That's two different measures. Alright. So keep that in mind whenever making it. So now we have 8. This would be a whole note, because this was 2 whole notes of rest. This is 8 of whole rest, and that is 8 on the F sharp. So 10, 8, and then another 8 played right after. And then we have a quarter of 10 from D, so the D line at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's right there. Go ahead and another 10 with carrying it over to a quarter and a half, and then 10 half. All right, cool. And then back up to F sharp 11, so up here, and then 10. And that's how you make it. So that is how you would read the tabs from these over here, guitar tabs, into here. It's very simple. Again, I don't think it's fully correct, because this is a half note of rest, this rest here, and this is a eighth of rest, or a quarter of rest, or something like that. So this doesn't really transfer, at least what I would think, correctly, but that is okay to me, as long as it sounds correct in here. Now you can also change the keys. As you see, this would actually be in the correct G, F, E, D, and all that. This would be correct for D minor, which is what the song is actually written in. But to read the tabs, you need to have it in expert and go based off of what you need in these. If you have any questions or anything I can do to further assist, I will probably do more videos on actually making music in Beepbox rather than just how to read the chords. But yeah, if you have any questions, comments, please leave them down. If you enjoyed, if this helped, leave a like and consider subscribing. I will continue to release dev blogs and dev videos. I have some in the pipe, and I will also continue to release the different musics that I make. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.